ways to look at revenue from the corporate perspective. One of the ways that we look at it is sales into the market. And so our sales into the market for this year are, are solid, solid numbers, millions of dollars, I would say US dollars. And another way to look at it is sales out. So as we get through this year, as is the case on a global basis, I think it may be a little more pronounced in India, we're starting to see this recessionary activity where sales are starting to slow down a little bit. There's a lot of things going on in the global economy, but also in India in particular, with a very big election coming up next year. Elections, always have uncertain and erratic ramifications and implications on economic activity and consumer confidence and spending. I think we're seeing on a global basis, in some markets, I would say on a global basis, where consumers are focusing on spending on essential products rather than products that are impulse purchases or premium or luxury products. So we're seeing that to a certain extent, while at the same time there's certainly consumers that are still spending very strongly on those products. We're interested to see going into the holiday season with Diwali right around the corner, what that's going to mean for us. We think we're positioned extremely well as a premium or luxury product, really a premium product and gift during Diwali, and then of course wedding season coming up as well. So we're optimistic about what we're going to see. We have, again, this new distributor that we've just named that we think will get us into some new distribution and really position us well in the Indian market to expand and grow at an even faster rate. We've seen solid double-digit percentage growth over the last several years since our kind of reintroduction into the Indian marketplace. And while we are seeing the second half of the year that slow a little bit, we really are anticipating going into the holiday season and with renewed distribution, or new additional distribution, I should say, that we will see those numbers begin to pick up pretty significantly. Yeah, when we look at designs to put on our product, we look at several different things. We look at global trends, both in colorways and as well as different design aesthetics that there are. What's the content, and of course, what's the style in which the artwork is applied. So we have a small team that's dedicated in looking at a number of different resources that we have at what those trends are going to be for the next 6, 12, 18, 24 months. And we use that with our design team to inspire what it is that we come out with. On a regional basis or market-specific basis like India, we also leverage our distribution partners and employees in the area, any other types of partners that we may have, in this case our good friends at Ogilvy, our marketing agency, to really evaluate what's going on in the marketplace and how does that inform the designs that we see. So we've really seen some of this kind of traditional glamorous Indian fashion. We pay a lot of attention to the fashion space. Zippo lighters are, I call us a pseudo fashion brand, right? We're not exactly full on fashion, but certainly consumers purchase different Zippo lighters with different designs on them to showcase not only their own personality, but to also be a fashion accessory sometimes. Things just as simple as matching colors, but it could also be stylistically what they're looking for. So we've seen kind of that glamorous, more traditional Indian style coming to life in various fashion outlets. And so we've been trying to reflect some of that in our lighter designs that are going to be forthcoming in the next several months. You'll start to see them make their way onto your favorite e-commerce sites and retail establishments. It's always a tough question for me to answer because it really depends on how you define who our competitors are, right? A Zippo lighter, we really think about it in two different ways. One, it's a functional device, right? At its very essence, it's a lighter. It's a portable flame. You use it to light things, diyas, candles, any fireplaces, any number of things. And so from a functional perspective, when you look at who competitors are, it's really any other kind of lighter, right? On a global basis, the most well-known, of course, is Bic, but there's also other local competitors and no-name brands and those sorts of things that are competitors. But while they're competitors, they're really not, because they're very different products from a Zippo lighter. And we think that we are very distinguished from them. But at the root of what our main product is from a functional perspective, we would consider them competitors. The other way to look at Zippo lighters is really as an accessory, right? It's a functional accessory, but it's certainly, as we were just speaking, an accessory, right? Whether it's a fashion accessory, similar to a watch, which is also a functional accessory, right? Or some sort of jewelry or other types of pocketables that you may have. There's lots of other giftable men's accessories and women's accessories that could potentially be classified as a competitor. We're a strong American brand, and so that's initially where we look, is what are those other American brands or strong American brands or brands that have a strong presence in America that we would be competitive with on a global basis. So it could be, when we look at the spaces, our competitors, we're not necessarily competing from a functional perspective, but we're competing for consumers' dollars. Certainly, there's a number of other companies that we would look at in that kind of fashion space, if you will, or men's accessories in particular space, just to keep an eye on what they're doing and what consumer sentiment is towards them and that sort of thing. It's not a one or the other for Zippo, it's a both. There are certainly brands that were born on the internet that are e-commerce, but interestingly, more and more you see those brands, the ones that survive and are strong brands, open brick and mortar locations or work with key retailers. They started off as an online exclusive brand, and they've moved into brick and mortar because, again, I strongly believe that strong brands have strong brick and mortar presence. And so there's that give and take between those two retail channels, where some consumers want an experience. They want to go into a physical store. They want to physically touch the product. I mean, our lighters are very tactile. We've got that Zippo click that's a trademarked sound in India and other markets around the world. And it's just a very tactile experience. So there's consumers that want that want to see that. And then there's consumers that want the convenience and the ability to see the entire assortment at ease in their pajamas from their home, as they're sitting on their couch or laying in bed. And so they work hand in hand. Lots of research occurs online. Lots of in-person interaction occurs at brick and mortar. And so there's lots of consumers that are moving in and out of those experiences that we can track, and there's far more that we can't track and can't see. So when you talk about, which is more lucrative, certainly our own web shop is lucrative, right? We have the cost of running it, certainly, but we're selling it full retail versus to some wholesale cost to some, e-commerce or brick and mortar wholesaler or retailer. But we get a lot more out of having those brick and mortar relationships, right? We're looking for true partners to work with that want to promote our brand and want to work with us to see our mutual success grow. And so in some ways, I would say that brick and mortar is more lucrative, and in other ways, I would say that e-commerce is more lucrative. Yeah, our strategy, I mentioned, we just named another distribution partner, another distributor. And so you'll start to see Zippo's own presence in the market expand. We have, a very small number of employees. We'll be increasing the number of employees that we have in India to help support those distributors and look at how, from a logistical perspective, we help to interact with them as far as importing the product and distributing it. You'll see some changes over the next year to how our company is classified. Zippo Lighters India Private Limited is our entity there, headed by Sunil Moses. And so you'll see his team begin to expand, not only to support e-commerce business, but also brick and mortar. We anticipate that we'll see some strong double-digit growth again next year in 2024 from this year. We'll be off targets just a little bit for this year, this calendar year, but going into 2024 calendar year, we anticipate seeing that continued growth. Finding more key distribution partners on the brick and mortar side will be a focus of ours coming out of the pandemic. We've got some great partnerships with e-commerce, some of the key e-commerce accounts, like Amazon.in and Flipkart and Tata Click Luxury, for example. And so we're really looking for who are some good regional partners for us to be able to find the right retailers to be in and to partner with in different regions around India. On a global basis, we did a lot of great work with our partners at Ogilvy to look at how that really resonates in the Indian market. And I think that one of the things about the Indian market that really has stuck with us, that we embrace and we think that it embodies the Zippo spirit, there's a lot of alignment here, is a lot of that aspiration that occurs in India. And you saw some of that come to life with some of our marketing efforts around Spark a New Beginning, right? Where there's this, especially with younger population in India, I think there's this attitude that again resonates with Zippo as a brand of, I can do this, I can put things, I can do whatever I want, right? It's this, people aren't going to tell me what I can do, I'm going to go out and prove them wrong kind of attitude that I think, through my experience, is more prevalent now in India than perhaps it has ever been, in particular with certain populations. And that really came to life with the Spark the New Beginning campaign, and that's something that we really look at as we look at what consumer groups to talk to and market to. That kind of can-do attitude is certainly something that is part of our brand, and we inherited that from the founder of the company and the inventor of the Zippo lighter, a very resourceful, great marketer, a great inventor, Mr. George Blaisdell. And so that's I think that's an attitude that's perhaps a little more prevalent in India than you see in other places, and we really embody that spirit and embrace that and are excited to see that.